Welcome to This Explainer. I'm your host, and today we're putting on our ad tech analyst hats to decode the mechanics of digital tracking and really the future of identity resolution. The digital landscape is shifting incredibly fast right now, and honestly, understanding the architecture of how data moves across the web is more absolutely crucial than ever before. Okay, let's dive right into this. We've literally all experienced it, right? You're sitting on the couch, watching a streaming service on your smart TV, an ad for a new pair of running shoes plays. And then, maybe an hour later, that exact same ad magically pops up on your smartphone. It feels like magic, or, maybe a little bit like surveillance, but it's actually highly engineered data science. Today, we're going to look under the hood of the digital advertising ecosystem to explain exactly why and how these ads follow you across your different devices. To understand why this kind of tracking is so necessary for marketers, let's look at a standard but totally disconnected customer journey. Step 1, you see a connected TV or CTV ad in the morning. Step 2, you do a quick mobile search for the product during your lunch break. And step 3, you actually pull the trigger and buy the product on your desktop computer that night. Now, without cross-device tracking, the analytics system doesn't see one person making a purchase. It literally sees 3 completely separate people doing 3 totally disconnected things. For a marketer, that basically breaks the user journey entirely. So here's our professional ad tech roadmap for what we'll cover today. 1. The multi-screen problem. 2. The matching mechanics. 3. Industry signal loss. And 4. The first-party data future. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the multi-screen problem and its core challenges. The first massive headache for advertisers is ad overexposure. This brings us to a concept called person-level frequency capping. This is simply a limit on how many times a single individual sees a specific ad campaign across all their combined devices. Because without cross-device tracking, frequency caps only operate at the device level. That means if an advertiser sets a limit of 4 ads, well, your TV might show it to you 4 times, your phone 4 times, and your laptop 4 times. Boom! You've now seen the exact same ad 12 times. Person-level frequency caps prevent this kind of massive ad overexposure, which saves the advertiser money and, frankly, prevents you from getting completely annoyed by the brand. The second big challenge is the attribution gap. When a customer's journey is fragmented across different screens, attribution gaps systematically undervalue upper funnel media placements. Think about it. If you see the ad on TV but buy on your phone, the system gives 0 credit to the TV ad and 100% of the credit to that final mobile click. This gap completely destroys campaign measurement. Cross-device tracking is exactly what helps marketers connect those initial upper-funnel TV ads to downstream mobile conversions. Without it, they might actually stop funding the TV ads that are secretly driving all their sales. Move in right along to Section 2, the matching mechanics. Let's look at how the industry actually connects these dots. And this brilliantly illustrates the 2 main ways this puzzle gets solved: deterministic and probabilistic matching. Deterministic matching uses exact verified signals. Think of it like when you log into an app with your email address or a verified account on both your TV and your phone. It's highly accurate for sure, but it only works when you're actually logged in. On the flip side, probabilistic matching infers connections through behavioral signals. It looks at patterns. Like, are 2 devices sharing the same Wi-Fi IP address every single night? Do they have similar browsing habits? Are they in the same location? It makes a highly educated guess that they belong to the same person. So you get broader scale, but definitely lower accuracy. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the clear trade-off between these models. Deterministic gives you high precision but lower scale, relying heavily on emails and phone numbers. Probabilistic gives you massive scale but lower precision, relying on things like IP addresses and operating systems. Because neither one is perfect on its own, the industry standard is a hybrid approach. This smartly combines those verified IDs where they're available and then uses statistical probabilistic methods to fill in the tracking gaps across the rest of the open web. Now, all of this data pours into what's known as a device graph. Think of a device graph as a giant unified data structure, an identity fabric really, that maps the relationships between your various identifiers to resolve all those disparate data points down to a single actual person. These identity fabrics act as the foundational infrastructure. They are what allow advertisers to reliably target users and measure their campaigns across the open internet. All right, let's pivot to Section 3, industry signal loss. This is where we get into the tracking disruption. So the crucial point here is this. Since 2017, Safari has been quietly but very effectively dismantling tracking infrastructure. Through a system called Intelligent Tracking Prevention, or ITP,
Apple is systematically destroying the lifespan of tracking cookies. If a tracker tries to set a cookie via standard client-side JavaScript, Safari automatically caps its life at just 7 days.
As you'll see, the degradation of cookie lifespans is pretty aggressive. Standard cookies get those 7 days, but if Safari actually recognizes the domain as a known tracker, that window shrinks to just 24 hours. And for third-party cookies, the ones set by external domains specifically to track you across different websites, 0. They are blocked entirely. Now, for an advertiser with a long, multi-week sales cycle, this completely breaks their attribution chain.
And hey, Safari isn't operating in a vacuum here. Over 80% of major web browsers now block or limit third-party cookies by default. The vast majority of the web is currently operating in environments that actively restrict legacy third-party tracking. This is creating massive blind spots for marketers who are just trying to piece together that multi-device puzzle we talked about earlier. But it's not just the tech companies. Lawmakers are stepping in too. Modern privacy laws are completely rewriting the rules of the game. Over in the EU, GDPR requires active opt-in consent before you can be tracked at all. In California, CCPA requires clear opt-out mechanisms. And Apple's app tracking transparency means apps have to explicitly ask for your permission to track you. What we're seeing is a fundamental global shift in the rules of data collection. We are moving far away from passive, invisible data harvesting and moving toward active, transparent user consent. Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, the first-party data future and the industry's strategic pivot. With third-party cookies dying and probabilistic matching heavily degrading due to hidden IP addresses, the industry absolutely must execute a strategic pivot. To survive this massive signal loss, tracking is moving away from browser-based tracking, which is highly vulnerable to ad blockers and browser restrictions like ITP. Instead, the new technical standard is server-side tagging. So instead of the browser sending data directly to third parties, the data is routed through a secure first-party server controlled by the website owner itself. It's so much more resilient and allows businesses to strictly control exactly what data gets passed along to advertising networks. Let's move to our final analyst takeaways and see how this all builds together for the future. 1. You have to prioritize deterministic data sources. 2. Definitely acknowledge the coverage limits of probabilistic models. And 3. Secure consented first-party data. Ultimately, building a trusted relationship where users willingly provide their information, that consented first-party data, is now absolutely vital for reliable cross-device tracking.
Which leaves us with this final thought. As third-party cookies vanish and server-side first-party tracking takes over in a privacy-first web, is true anonymity actually possible? Or are we simply shifting how the identity puzzle is solved behind the scenes? It's a fascinating balance between the highly personalized marketing we kind of desire and the digital privacy we rightfully demand. Think about that the next time an ad seamlessly follows you from your TV straight to your phone. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. I hope it brought some real clarity to the complex architecture of our digital lives.